Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. This video is on the partial solar eclipse, which is also a new moon in Leo that happens on the 11th of August 2018 at 10:57 in the morning, and that's based on UK time, so British summertime. Now, a new moon is when the sun and the moon sit together, so the moon is totally black and it's pulling in the energy from the sun to recharge itself for its next monthly cycle. So it's pulling in lots and lots of Leo energy into itself so it can get that done. Now, a new moon is pitch black, you don't see it. And because this is a partial eclipse, you're not going to see very much. This isn't going to be a dramatic eclipse because everything's pitch black already. So the sun and the moon sit together in Leo at 18 degrees. So Leo energy is beautiful. I mean, it's the energy that we're experiencing now here in the summer in the Northern Hemisphere. There's fire in the atmosphere, there's passion, there's confidence, there's the belief in oneself, there's the ability to laugh and have fun and to be around children and to get in touch with your inner child and play and enjoy. The lion also sometimes tests his strength against others just for fun. The lion is confident and powerful. Remember that Mercury is in Leo and Mercury is in retrograde, so some of the things that feel so amazing and you're so confident at, you may get things wrong a little bit because Mercury is in retrograde. And Mercury, speaking of Mercury, is right next to this new moon. So we've got the sun and the moon at 18 degrees in Leo. We've got Mercury at 14 degrees, so it's 4 degrees away, influencing this new moon. Now, first of all, the fact that it's at 18 degrees, 1 and 8 is 9. 9 is spirituality and completion. So, if you want to get the good side of Leo, the confidence, the freedom, the spontaneity, the effortless ease in which they overcome problems, it's sometimes miraculous to see a Leo at work. They just go, poof, gone, problem solved. Other people agonize over it for months, they just do it. So, the way to get the best of Leo is to have a spiritual practice in place because 9 is about spirituality. So when this eclipse happens, if you want to get focus, life purpose, if you want to be informed through this eclipse in terms of, Sally, this is what you've always have been supposed to do. This is your life purpose, your life mission. During this eclipse, I'm telling you what that is. Go for it. That's what you can experience if you just take 5 or 10 minutes on this day and you just say, what is it that you want me to know? What is my path in life? Where am I moving towards? What's really my life purpose, my life passion? What am I meant to be doing? If you're not certain of that yet, this eclipse is really going to help, but only if you do think outside of just your own head. If you're just saying, I'm the king, I'm the best, I'm a great public speaker, my ideas are the best, I'm amazing, and you just go da-da-da, it's not going to go down very well because you're not going to be the best because Mercury is in retrograde and you're going to put your foot in it in some ways. So, Mercury at 14 degrees, that's 5 in Leo, potentially you have the freedom here to communicate things which will make things better and which will give you greater freedom in your own life. But you have to be careful because of the retrograde, and you're not going to be able to do it if you think, how am I going to get on this path of what I'm supposed to do? How am I going to expand the business? How am I going to be in a relationship with this person? Instead, think, what do you, universe, want me to do with this energy? What are we going to do? My ancestors, my guides, my angels, my higher power, the universe, the creator, Archangel Metatron or Michael or whoever you feel drawn and guided to, allow them in and allow them to help you because they will sort the retrograde of Mercury and they'll make sure that you're able to really focus on something that is a genuine life purpose, something that really excites you and not just some false hope. You know, like for me, like in 2011, I trained as a teacher. I was never meant to be a teacher. I did that for 2 years and then I was lucky enough to start doing this. But the teaching wasn't for me, but I needed to do it to overcome social anxiety and to be able to talk to you guys like this. So it was never wasted. You know, some things we feel like, oh, this is a passion in life, and we pursue it, and then it fizzles out and we're like, what the hell was that all about? Nothing is ever wasted. You always learn from these experiences. So Mercury at 14 degrees can really lead to freedom in the way you think about yourself, in the way you know yourself, in the way you know where you want to go, what your talents are, what you want to do with your life, in terms of what's my purpose here, and also what do I want to do vocationally? How am I going to maximize my potential? So this is a really amazing eclipse that gives you the opportunity to find that out. If you find it difficult to close your eyes and to tune into yourself, or you don't want to because there's so much pain there and you don't want to face it right now. Like for instance, if you've just got out of rehab and there's a lot of work that you've got to do, you may not want to open Pandora's box right now. And that's where astrologers and psychics and people like me come in, because I can look at your chart and I can say, these are your work talents. This is your life purpose. That's where you were in a past life. That's what's destined for you in love and romance and health. And that gives you something to go on, because then you know, if I use my energy in this way, even though it doesn't feel 100%, at least I'm doing something that's going to last and I'm going in the right direction. So the North Node is also sitting there on this eclipse, new moon in Leo. And when it's on the North Node, it pulls even more energy in, and it affects people in charge. It affects the way you're in charge of your own life, and it also affects our leaders. Now, this kind of negates the previous eclipse that we had earlier. It wasn't the last one that we had, it was the one before. We had 2 in July, it was the first one in July, and that made our leaders more compassionate and more humanitarian, which does last for 6 months, and it will make our leaders more compassionate and more humanitarian. But now with this eclipse, following that up, makes our leaders and makes ourselves focused on how we can get personal glory, plus with that Mercury retrograde sitting in it, there's the potential for errors to creep in. So now we've got a situation where last month our leaders and ourselves were like, okay, what can I do for humanity? How can I be of service? How can I help? Now it's like, okay, I've helped a little bit, but I also want a little bit of applause for myself and a little bit of recognition. So I'm going to speak my truth, and if you're not asking your guides and your angels to help you, your truth is, even if it's fine, but you may just express it in a way that's not politically correct or that doesn't go down very well. It's not the time to really try and get people to understand the real you, you know? Because Mercury will make it difficult for you to really just be real and to make it happen in the way you want. And this Mercury retrograde has been strong. I felt it very strongly. TV-wise, all of that broke down, internet broke down. This morning, I was having a cup of tea. I spilled the tea all over my tarot cards. I had to wipe them all down. I've saved them all. One didn't make it, but those are Mercury retrograde things, mistakes, little errors. So great, we've got humanitarian leaders who want to make things better, but mistakes will be made. That's no great insight. People always make mistakes. People even use that as an excuse. Well, I made a mistake, I'm human, what do you expect? I don't, you know. So be aware of that. You can really find what you want, but if you try and do it all on your own, without any help and just your ego, it's likely that you gallop off in the wrong direction. If you connect with the universe and ask, what are we doing with this energy? Then you'll gallop in the right direction. Now, the new moon forms a lot of relationships, so it's complicated. First of all, it squares Jupiter in Scorpio at 14 degrees. Hallelujah. So listening to your feelings and your higher power means that good luck is on your side and you find the freedom that you're looking for. So please, just, even if it's 3 seconds, just close your eyes. I don't believe in you, God, but if you're there, please guide me. That's it. You've just got to be willing and the universe will help. You don't have to call it God. You can call it Big Papa, Big Mama. You can call it my Jiminy Cricket. You can call it whatever you want. Man on a cloud with a beard, energy. It's your concept. The reality is you're a human being, okay? And if you think the world revolves around you, you're wrong. When I die, when you die, the world is going to continue. And all we can do is try and figure out what our place is here. I mean, I was born for a reason. You know, so I've got to do something with that. So have you. And we can live great lives when we maximize our true potential instead of doing things which aren't aligned with us. Like when Einstein sold insurance till he was 30. It didn't work for him. And then he had that miraculous year where those ideas were brought into his mind. And I read Einstein's biography, and I don't think it was just him. I think it was divinely channeled into his mind. The universe decided the world was ready for this knowledge, and that's why he got it. So we're talking similar stuff here. Information, but you have to be, you can't just take it at face value, like you're meant to be an ice skater, okay? You can't just take that at face value because Mercury is in retrograde. You have to meditate on it and say, universe, how are we going to do this? Is this right for me? So it's an opportunity to become closer to your higher power and not just gallop off in a direction doing something which is totally inappropriate. Now, the new moon also sextiles the rising sign in Libra, which is beautiful because it means that despite the Mercury retrograde and putting your foot in it, other people are going to be more forgiving. Venus is also in Libra, so people are very loving and forgiving and kind at the moment, more than they usually would be. So if you're not a complete, arrogant, a bozo saying, I'm the king, look at me. Some people show off like that and they're like, that's not going to work. So if you're one of those guys with gold chains and you've got your souped up car, this eclipse isn't going to work for you. And you might want to reconsider your options. If you are someone who is genuinely trying to make something happen, like let's say you really want to be recognized for the healing work that you've been doing in your healing center, and you're listening to your feelings and your guides and your angels, and they're saying expand the business, employ more people, and advertise and really get your name out there, then trust that guidance and do it. Because all you need to do, the messages that you get, all you need to do to differentiate between good guidance and rubbishy guidance is, have I closed my eyes this morning and connected with something bigger than myself for 3 seconds? If the answer is yes, then you can trust the guidance. If the answer is no, you can't. It's really simple. Now, it also forms it's conjunct to Mercury in the North Node, the new moon. So those two sextile Venus in Libra at 4 degrees. So from Venus went into Libra on the 6th of August. It stays in Libra for a couple of weeks, so the majority of August. This is the best time to build new relationships, to fall in love with your existing partner, to have wonderful romantic relationships, to conceive children, to make new friends, to make new relationships. But again, Mercury retrograde, you have to make sure, universe, is this person right for me? Because I think they're the bee's knees. I think they're amazing, this person, but what do you think? And then you'll get a feeling or you'll get an answer or something like that. Or if you don't, if you're shut off from yourself again, that's where the readings come in. So this is a tricky eclipse where the people who have practiced this a little bit, ego guidance, personal guidance, connecting with something bigger, I'm not the center of the universe, they're going to benefit from that because it really gives you a direction. If you're an egomaniac, you're going to go off the rails with this solar eclipse because it will just be too much. So there's a book by Martin Amis written in the 80s called Money, I think, or Making Money or something. And it follows this awful protagonist who is just overeats, overdrinks, overdoes everything, sex, drugs, everything. And it just goes to smithereens one day. And he builds this whole persona around him. He's this big, heavy hitter, big man. But deep down, there's nothing there. There's total insecurity, can't look at his own feelings. They'll eat him up inside if he faces them. That's why he has to consume to distract himself from what's really going on within him. And if you're one of those people today, that's going to crack. And that crack may feel horrible, but that's the crack that's going to save you and the rest of your life, because you can't go on that kind of path forever. You'll destroy your body, or you'll destroy yourself intellectually or emotionally or spiritually, and one day you'll wake up and you're like, I'm 500 pounds, I'm all alone, I've spent all the money, and now what? And that's much harder then. You can come back from that, but this is an opportunity to have an awakening. Use the opportunity to have an awakening. We need an awakening to live a proper life. I mean, I'm sorry to go on and on about this, but I feel like I've lived 2 lives in this lifetime. Before I had my spiritual awakening, I was totally self-absorbed. My life, what am I doing? Where am I going to be happy? Me, 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 me. And me didn't get me anywhere. It got me into a horrible place. When I started to think about how can I add value to the world and do something, that's when my life turned around. And that only came through an awakening. And sometimes a lot of us learn through pain. I had to fall on my face hard to have that awakening. This is an opportunity to have an awakening without pain. You don't have to hit rock bottom to wake up. Here, you don't have to wait for the elevator to go to, the basement. You can get off on the ground floor before everything's gone to smithereens. So many connections. There's a quincunx with Pluto in Capricorn at 19 degrees. Obviously. When you listen to your guidance and you get the new life purpose, Pluto is transformation and change, and it's going to mean that you start working on different things, because obviously now you have a different idea of what you're doing. There's also a quincunx with the North Node, which is next to Mercury and the new moon. That quincunx is Saturn at 3 degrees in Capricorn. So you start to think about how you can build and make this new reality tangible and structured and present in your life, which is wonderful. There's another quincunx to Neptune in Pisces at 15 degrees. Neptune is the water planet of intuition and manifestation. In Pisces, it's in the sign that it rules, so delighted and thrilled, can use all of its manifestation power as strongly as possible. And it's at 15 degrees, which is 6. And 6 is a temporary opportunity. So this is a temporary opportunity to understand why you're here and what you're meant to be doing, and to manifest that into reality on this day by grabbing the idea and saying, Pluto, Saturn, I've got the idea, how are we going to make this a reality? And you can do it. It forms a sesqui square with Chiron in Aries at 1 degree. So other people's advice on this may be designed to sabotage you. So this is an eclipse which is very much about you, and is very much about you connecting with the higher realms. Often, some people get their guidance through other people. They hear something in a meeting or that sticks, and it really guides them. Sometimes people have an idea and they talk to 5 people about it and say, what do you think? And then they get the general consensus, and then they go with something based on that. The message here is, this solar eclipse ought to be a very personal experience where you close your eyes and you connect. If you let other people in, other people are also thinking about themselves. And there's the potential for you to get snubbed, or to be put down, or to be dismissed. Like, let's say you've got this amazing idea to build a new collection of suitcases for children that are going to sell. And this person you're telling has been racking their brains, they've been meditating all morning, and they've been thinking about how am I going to build a new business, and they've got nowhere. No answers, nothing, and they're super annoyed, and they're making themselves a cup of tea. You go around and you say, oh, Lizzie, I thought of designing this new brand of luxury luggage pieces with cute characters for children, and I don't know what name I just used, but the woman you're speaking to is not going to be impressed that you've got your path and that you're doing it. So she may be your friend at other times, But today she's trying to figure it out, and when you come along saying, I've got a great idea, what do you think? She's not going to be happy. She'll be jealous. She'll say, that's never going to sell, because she doesn't want you to succeed because she's failing herself. So today, this is obviously broad strokes generalization, but most people today are going to try and figure it out for themselves. And if you go and interrupt them, or you try and get approval and reassurance just so you can make a decision, don't. Make the decision yourself. The new moon also squares Uranus and Taurus at 2 degrees, so some feathers may be ruffled. I'm leaving the family business, the Italian restaurant, and I'm now going to be a designer, and I'm going to start my own business. The rest of the family isn't going to be happy. They're going to lose a hostess or a waitress or an owner. So my suggestion would be not to just throw everything up in the air and to say, I am going to be a designer. What I would say is stay in the family restaurant business, for instance. Start working as a designer on the side. Once that's up and running and you've got something there and you can devote yourself full time and it'll pay your bills, then leave the family restaurant. So you've got something to go on. Don't leave the family restaurant and then desperately try and build this design business, because your family are going to be on your back saying, well, you don't have anything there anyway, come back. If you've got a whole business already in place and they see that and it's like, oh wow, she's really successful, then they're not going to say come back to the business, they'll understand. So you got to do this a little bit with common sense. Now Uranus creates a T-square with Mercury and Mars. So a T-square is major friction. So there's friction between the sense of, I want to do something for humanity, but I'm not really getting clear ideas from myself. So I've got to take this eccentric step, which I haven't ever taken, and I'm going to open myself to the possibility that there may be something out there in the universe that's bigger than me that might be able to help me. So this is like a beginner's eclipse. This is like the eclipse for the atheists and the agnostics. Because if you guys just have a tiny willingness and say, God or universe, I don't believe in you, but if you have anything to say, now's the time, you'll get something. And that's the major friction, because the agnostics and the atheists are not going to want to surrender and to say, have you got anything to suggest? Because the whole point of being an atheist is that you believe that there's absolutely nothing out there. So it involves a whole change of belief system, but fall on your face enough times and you'll start to realize that you are not God. There is one and you're not it. Neither am I. None of us are. There is a T-square, not a T-square, a grand trine in this chart, the T-square I just spoke about. The grand trine connects the midheaven in Cancer, Jupiter in Scorpio, and Neptune in Pisces. So this is people whose mission and whose point in life, whose life purpose has to do with any spiritual work, so being a nun or a clairvoyant or a medium or a charity worker, or working as a physician or a faith healer or a Reiki healer, a pranic healer, an intuitive, a psychic, a medium, someone who works in the restaurant business, taking care of other people, feeding them, or if you're in real estate, helping people with houses, or you're in decoration or anything that supports other people, if you're a hospice carer, the people who figure out that their job today is to do those kinds of vocations, whether conventional or unconventional, so conventional is nurse, unconventional is Reiki healer, the people who discover that that is their purpose today, you're going to be especially blessed and you'll find it easiest to discover your purpose. I'm just looking at the aspects to make sure I haven't missed anything, so bear with me. I've mentioned Saturn, I've mentioned Pluto. Black Moon Lilith sits next to Mars, also at 0 degrees. So Black Moon Lilith is going to say, oh, this thing about helping other people, stop being such a do-gooder and just focus on yourself. Don't. Look at, okay, what is my purpose, but also how's this purpose going to add value to other people? Because if it's all about you, no one cares, really. You know, if you write your autobiography and no one knows who you are, then it's not going to sell a huge amount because no one will know you exist. And it's about following your path and doing something for other people, which is going to put you in the limelight. There's two ways of being in the limelight. Either you're super talented and you have a beautiful voice and you go up on stage and you sing and people love it and the word spreads and you go on tour and you sing. That's a way of solo, having been given something and just being yourself and just having a talent. This eclipse is for the people who haven't always known what to do in life, who want to get some recognition and applause, but don't feel like they've got the talent to get that. I can't write, I can't sing, I can't do anything, become an actor. I want to be well known and applauded, but I don't know how to do it because I don't have these stage showbiz talents. The way to do it, if you're one of those people today, is by doing one of those healing, nurturing, caring, humanitarian professions, and you'll become so good at those that you will be valued and recognized for the work that you're doing there. You see the difference? So, a singer entertains and is of service by entertaining people. And sometimes certain songs will even heal people. A nurse doesn't entertain people, she nurtures and heals people by physically tending to them. It's the same thing, it's just a different format. So find the way that you can help if you want to, and this eclipse is going to give you a lot of info. There's also a mystic rectangle in the chart. Yikes. A mystic rectangle is something really rare. It's two trines parallel to each other and two sextiles parallel to each other, and they create a rectangle. This rectangle combines Chiron in Aries with Mercury in retrograde in Leo, Libra, Venus, and Mars and Black Moon Lilith in Aquarius. So the talent that you've got is to be independent and to move forward with your chosen life purpose despite past failures, despite insecurities. And the big talent that you've got today is to not get into conflict and not let other people dissuade you or discourage you from walking this path that you now want to walk. So the mystic rectangle really shields you against other people trying to sabotage you, like that example I gave with Lizzie, who wasn't feeling it. So that's pretty much all of the planets in the chart, really, that I've touched upon. So there isn't much left, really, to talk about. So it's, you're shielded from the bad influence of others. It is Mercury retrograde. To sum up, if you try and do everything by yourself, there's likely to be mistakes, but great success and lots of power. Fewer mistakes and no mistake if you close your eyes a minute and you just ask, what are we doing today? And you allow, even if you don't believe, just if there is something out there, be with me today and help me out. And then at the end of the day, if great things happen, say thank you. That's the way to start building a relationship with a higher power. To realize that it does intervene in your life. I remember I said the step 3 prayer in recovery, which is I hand my will and my life over to God and do and build with me as you will. And my life started to change. Things started to happen. I picked up the phone and rang someone without realizing. It was like I was in a trance, and the universe worked through me to change my life. And when you see the evidence that there is something, when you ask for help, when you see the evidence of that thing helping you in your life, you start to believe. So it's not just a thing of, okay, today I'm going to believe in God. Yesterday I didn't, today I just will. It's not, you can do that intellectually, but you won't feel it. And if you want to feel it, you've got to start with that and then look for evidence of how you are being supported and blessed. There are almost yods in this chart. A yod is two quincunxes and a sextile, and they're known as the finger of God. We almost have two here, but we've got the sextiles that are missing. So it is a day where the universe is really giving you an opportunity to maximize your potential, especially if you're someone who's at the very, very beginning of your spiritual journey. The people who are already further on your spiritual journey, you will find confirmation that you're on the right track, or if you also don't know what your life purpose is, you will find your life purpose. So that's what I get for this solar eclipse. It's amazing energy, and it will really empower you and make you feel alive. And that's the great thing about this, that you have loads of energy. Just don't, like I said, don't gallop in the wrong direction, and just ask before you gallop, where am I galloping to? That's all you need to do. Have a wonderful time during this eclipse. The chart that you're looking at here, when I draw up your birth chart in a personal reading, I get exactly the same wheel, but I get the planets where they were when you were born. So that is a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born, and by interpreting that chart, I can tell you what your life purpose is, your talents when it comes to jobs, your life purpose in terms of why you've come back and what you're here to do and where you've been in past lifetimes and what journey you're on. I can tell you what you're good at work-wise and what your vocational aptitudes are, and whether your life purpose and your vocational aptitudes are interlinked or whether they're separate. So separate is, I'm good at being a butcher, but my life purpose is to become a father and to provide for my children. Other way is, my life purpose is to heal people, nurture them. Work-wise, I'm good at being a nurse, so they work together because you heal people by being a nurse. Sometimes they're separate, sometimes they're together. I can also look at what's kind of written on your forehead, what's destined for you in love, in money, health, travel, relationships, dreams coming true, work. And I can answer any questions for you. Am I compatible with Bill? Or what's coming up for me in my health or my future? Or am I moving? What's coming up in money and love life and all of those kind of things? If you have any questions, I can answer those for you. Please remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified next time I publish a video. So I do these special videos on the eclipses, I do weekly horoscopes, I do daily tarot readings, and I'm also in the process of restarting the monthly horoscopes for each sun sign of the zodiac. So please subscribe to the channel for more content. I'd be ever so grateful. If you like my videos, then please subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful time during this eclipse, but I feel like I don't want to stop talking to you. I feel like I've still got something to say. This is the last eclipse of the year, okay? So the energy that's going to be with us for the next 6 months, this is it. And it's about you being confident and being a humanitarian and trying to combine the two and saying, how can I be the best me and help other people? And if you ask that question, you will get a lot of information. And when you start implementing that information, you will work a job that you love, you will help other people, and the side effect of that is that you will thrive financially. And it doesn't get much better than that. So this is the eclipse of all those people who, like me, struggled and suffered for a long time looking for the right job until I found it. And it is a huge weight off your shoulders. Once you find the job that's right for you and you stop looking, that search is so draining. You only realize once you're done. Like once you found the right job, it's like, oh, that was so hard. You can only say it once you found the right thing. It's amazing. You don't realize what goes into it while you're doing it. So have a wonderful eclipse. If you would like to get in touch with me, then just go to the website, gregoryscott.com. Have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you soon.